104.7 The Cave. KKLH, Marshfield, Springfield. A proud member of the Kansas City Chiefs radio network.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Now, it's time for Ned Talk.
Yes, it's a very special edition of Ned Talk today because our own Josh Roberts he's going to do his best Joey Chestnut impersonation, and he's going to eat as many hot dogs as he can while we do Ned Talk for the next hour.
Yeah, eat your heart out, Joey Chestnut. You can't talk and eat.
So if you go online to our Facebook page, you'll see that Josh has a pile of hot dogs, and we'll see if he can consume them during the course of this show. And he has mustard, too.
Mustard and water.
Ned, what do you think of all this?
Well, I think of it.
This is sports at its finest, Ned.
How many hot dogs
hot
are
dog
there?
number one, folks. Hot dog number one.
How many are there?
It's going down right now.
I don't know.
There's several. Let's just put it that way. There's several hot dogs here.
Do you think you can eat that whole case of hot dogs that has been brought in here?
Time will tell.
Well, wait a minute. I happen to know at these hot dog eating contests, or actually, I guess it's anything, they have buckets available. There damn well better be a bucket in here. It's a trash can. That's not a bucket.
Hot dog number two, by the way, is being consumed right now. There's a bathroom just around the corner because I really don't want it to happen in here.
Heavens no.
No. It is Ned Talk, your local live sports talk show and your hot dog consuming program. And we're going to talk about sports while Josh eats hot dogs today. I guess, Ned, the best place for us to start is tomorrow night is our Chiefs happy hour, right?
It will be. As a matter of fact, at the, what do you call it? Not the the Patton Alley, down Patton Alley.
It's the dive on Patton Alley.
The dive on Patton Alley.
Hot dog number 3, folks.
And we all start at 5 o'clock. That's when, actually 5:30. I think the doors open at 5:30. But hey, come on down. It'll be a good time. Mitch Holtis will be there. Danon Hughes will be there, and you don't really need to pepper. I don't like that verb anyway. Pepper them with questions because those guys will answer everything, especially Holtis, who does his homework.
Mitch, how are you doing? And 20 minutes later, you can ask him another question. But you're an excellent host for this. You've hosted these most of the time that we've done these, and you and Mike do an outstanding job hosting these events.
It's fun because these guys carry the load, of course, and we just, you know what we do? You know what our job is, Josh?
What is our job?
Looking pretty. Looking pretty.
Ned, you do that better than anyone I know.
You're so full of hot dogs.
It is at the Dive on Patton Street, downtown Springfield. Tomorrow night, it's the Chiefs Happy Hour 2024 with all of us at 104.7 The Cave. Ned Reynolds will be there. Josh Roberts will be there. will be there. I think I'll be there. Let's put it that way. Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens, and, of course, the draw, Mitch Holtis and Danon Hughes, the voices of the Kansas City Chiefs, and they will talk about Chiefs. And I gone to many of these, Ned, and each year I'm ready to run through a wall for the Kansas City Chiefs right after Mitch gets done talking.
He's a professional in every single respect, does a great job. And now that he doesn't have his life is consumed now by the Chiefs, just as Josh is consumed by the hot dogs. The hot dogs will win this thing.
Number 4, ladies and gentlemen, number 4 is happening right now. It's being unwrapped.
If I didn't have to peel them, it'd be easier.
Yep. I always wanted to do sports play-by-play. I never thought I would do it with a guy eating hot dogs.
With a guy eating hot dogs.
Yeah,
he is now pushing the mustard. The mustard he has ended the mustard covering of the hot dogs, and now he is consuming those. Masticate them now. You'll notice how I
masticate. Yeah, that's a big word. I'm going to look that up.
It's legit.
Easy. We're just friends.
Yeah, this is going to be a troubled show. I can tell you that. So
let's fire away, man.
If you want to buy tickets to, and there won't be any hot dogs probably tomorrow night, and there probably won't be any masticating, but there will be a lot of fun tomorrow night with Mitch Holtis, Danon Hughes. Chiefs Happy Hour 2024. Tickets are available online through our website at 1047thecave.com. So I'm anxious for this one. Should be a really good one.
There's actually a lot to discuss.
Yeah.
Now, these are the two-time reigning Super Bowl champions. No team has ever won it 3 times in a row. Been there, but never won it that many. And I think the challenge is there for Kansas City to do the three-peat and make it the first time.
Number 5 being consumed right now. You may go through this during the first segment.
I doubt that.
We may have to go out for some more hot dogs.
Oh.
So let's hope not. Okay, let's actually talk about some sports. Ned, the place that I'd like to start is with the tune-up games that both the men's and women's Olympic teams had yesterday, and one lost and one almost lost.
Well, now, I'll tell you, the women's one did not surprise me one tiny little bit.
No.
The men's game did, but then as I watched it, I did see that whole game. It was not a surprise because the USA came out flat. They weren't ready for this one at all. Played South Sudan. All right, South Sudan, this is their first Olympics in history. They've never been there before. So you're thinking, well, my God, what are they doing there? Well, folks, I don't know this literally is the case, but I would doubt that any of those players have ever been to South Sudan. They had relatives there, grandmothers, or whatever the case might be. They were pretty good. They're not a bad team at all. They had a sprinkling of former NBA players on there, and current ones as well. They had Duke's top recruit, who is damn good. He's a real good player. Anyway, they wanted to play. And the USA came out, kind of slogged it around, got caught on picks, and eventually found themselves down by 16 points.
Number 6. Number 6, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Number 6.
All right, 16 points they're down by, and then in the third period came out and caught fire. USA has some challenges. They are not, surprisingly enough, even with all those all-pro players, great all-stars, they're not a real good perimeter shooting team. And South Sudan shot 60% in the first half from perimeter distance. These guys have been taught well, and they are natural athletes. They're very, very good players. And the kid from Duke, he lit them up. And another kid who played a little bit for the Boston Celtics also got hot from outside. Wenyin Gabriel, I think his name is. Anyway, and they're coached by Luol Deng, who played for the Chicago Bulls. So they had good concept about them, and they're down by 16. Well, here comes the USA. In the third period, they came out and played defense. They were so lazy on defense in the first half, and it was a good wake-up call. USA wins it 101-100. They won it by 1.
Wow.
Coming from way down. Could have lost it at the end, but South Sudan got the ball underneath. Crowds of American players underneath. Guy took about 3 shots. Didn't get the ball in because he was killed underneath, and they didn't blow the whistles. No. So from that aspect, yes, South Sudan should have won it. But be that as it may, it's an exhibition game. USA plays Germany tomorrow, and that'll be it. Then it's on to the Olympics. The USA ladies.
Wait, well, let's stop for a second. And let me ask you this question.
Sure.
Does this outcome yesterday, the way the USA team played, how do you think it works out? Is it a wake-up call, or is it just this is a bad sign?
You can't tell. We'll find out. There's several ways to look at it because I was terribly disappointed in the perimeter shooting. The South Sudan,
number 7, ladies and gentlemen,
they played well over their heads. They're not bad, but they aren't as good as what they were.
Well, no, they're not the USA basketball team.
But to play within 1 point like that, now they play again. USA and South Sudan, they're in the same pool, so they'll play again. This time the USA may win it by 101 points as opposed to 1 point. The whole circumstance was such they played lazy. And I think Steve Kerr finally, hey, do you guys really want this? Do you want us to send you home or what? And, of course, they're obviously not going to do that. So I think maybe from that standpoint, Joe, it may be a wake-up call. We'll find out when they play Germany. The German team's pretty good, and they're also very physical. And there will be NBA players on the German team, the Wagner kid from Orlando Magic and the Michigan All-America, in fact, Player of the Year in Michigan 2 years ago. He's on this ball club. And they'll have plenty of talent out there. So from that aspect of things, yes, we'll see what happens.
If the U.S. had lost, how would you rank that as far as upsets in the history of USA basketball?
I wouldn't because it's an exhibition game.
Okay.
And
Fair enough.
in terms of exhibitions, had it happened in the Olympic competition, massive.
Yeah.
Massive. But
one thing to bear in mind, I mean, every team that plays the U.S., this is their moment to shine. I mean, everybody's gunning for the U.S. because they are the top team. They're expected to win it all. They're expected to win it every time. So every team, you're going to get the best of every team you play.
That's right.
And if
exactly
the U.S.
right.
comes out flat, like they obviously did in this game, against a team that may have had more experience or may have had a little bit more talent, they probably would have lost.
I would say and even with this one, they probably should have lost it too, but fate is what it is, and foul shots are what they are, and so forth.
Yep. You're listening to Ned Talk, your local live sports talk show. Josh Roberts consuming hot dogs. Uh-oh, got a cough. Ned Reynolds not consuming hot dogs. Standing by. We're about ready to begin number 8. This is number 8?
I'm slowing down already.
Christmas.
You're slowing down already, number 8.
Let's talk a little bit about the ladies'
let's
game.
talk about that. I wanted to talk about that, dude. The USA team lost, but not a big shock because they played the WNBA All-Stars.
As I told a guy yesterday, I said, you want to see this game because this one may be the toughest game of the entire Olympics for the USA Olympic team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they lost. They did lose. So the way they had this thing structured was it was the WNBA All-Star game. This is the All-Star weekend and so forth. Now the league shuts down while the Olympics are going on. All right, the WNBA team is playing the All-Stars. Wait a minute. The All-Stars are the WNBA. I mean, they're the Olympic team. This is the ladies who were not invited to be on that Olympic team. How about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, who are two of the very best young players? And the rest of them, very same thing. It wasn't necessarily first-year players. They just were not invited to try out for the team. Well, that rankled them, and they were pretty good. So good, 117 to 109. They beat the Olympians. Did not surprise me at all. Our Olympic team, our women's Olympic team, is really good, but they're also, I'm not going to say really, I'm not going to use that as an adjective here, they're old. And they're seasoned. They won, I think, 8 straight Olympic games. You have Diana Taurasi playing for them. She's 42. And their other players have been around, Brianna Stewart and individuals like that. Well, that may have been their toughest game. They're now on their way to London and play Germany Tuesday. And that'll only be, they're only 2 exhibition games is all they're going to have. And then it's on to the Olympics for them. I think they'll win their Olympics. I think they'll win their gold medal. That's the ladies. I think the men will too, but not without challenges. They're going to have to, especially the men, going to have to go out and play hard every single time. Basketball's caught up.
Yep. Well, if I'm not mistaken, the top player, the lady that is the top player in the WNBA, is not playing for the Olympic team.
Well, you're talking about Caitlin Clark.
No, the top player in the WNBA, not Caitlin Clark, but the player that is considered the best in the WNBA. She played for the All-Star team yesterday, and she won the MVP of that All-Star game.
I don't know if she's the top player. You're talking about the young lady with the African last name Ogawami, or I think
so. Yeah.
I didn't realize she was the top-rated player. I thought Brianna Stewart or some of the other individuals who they had on there.
This lady's been the top scorer the last couple of years in the WNBA. But I think one of the things that I wanted to touch on too with this is that I think you're seeing this evolution in Caitlin Clark's game too, is that she is becoming a fantastic facilitator.
Assist. She had, I think, 17 assists. Only had 4 points, I think it was. That's all. Didn't need to score. But she had all those assists. She set up the other players. She's a fine player. Make no mistake about it. The media wants to use her as the darling of the team and the darling of the WNBA, the savior and all that. And she is. She's a good player. But she's not all around talented as such, because she will have lapses in scoring. Only, I think, 4 points is what it was, and she was 0 for 9, I think, from three-point range. Well, you've got top players on her is why. That defense makes a big difference. But overall, she's good. She's a very skilled and smart individual.
Hot dog number 9 being consumed at this moment, ladies and gentlemen.
And he's not getting ill, but I am watching.
It's a little red in the face right now.
Am I?
A little bit.
Oh, uh-oh.
Take his blood pressure.
Yeah, we should have a doctor here or something. Well, you were a medic in the Navy.
I'm a surgical tech. Yeah, I can see from a visceral standpoint here that you're slowing down, son.
Oh, I am definitely.
Something goes wrong. We've got a pair of scissors and a med tech here, so we'll just be able to we'll be able to get you
up.
we'll get you going again.
Stick a finger down his throat, and he is well after that. Believe me.
Well, Ned, what I was saying is, Caitlin Clark has found it. It's a whole different league, obviously, and she's coming in, and you're facing players that are bigger, stronger, faster than what she would face in college basketball, and you can see that she's changing her game and focusing more as a player that's assisting.
And that's what makes her so good. She has the talent and the versatility to be able to change her strategy, and she's doing that. Her assists, she set a record for assists in last night's game, and that's going to be broken. She'll do even more than that as the season goes on. Of course, again, they take there's a 2-week break here coming up. But for her to be able to accomplish that kind of teamwork in a very short time, remember now, her college season just ended, just as it did for Jackie Stiles when she went into the WNBA. She only had about a month off or something like that, maybe less than that. That's the way it is. That's the structure. That's going to be the case, and that is for Clark. She needs a rest.
Yeah, that's something that we talked about earlier, too, is that this time last year, she was probably sitting at home, just doing normal workouts, doing whatever that she does to prepare for the college basketball season. This year, she's in the highest level of competition for women's basketball, and she's, played basically almost a year straight of basketball, and that is physically hard, mentally hard on somebody, and to see her evolve in this game and go, look, I'm not going to be able to light everybody up every night scoring 27 points on a bunch of 3 points, and everybody's out after me. How can I change my game? How can I be a better player? And that's something that's really impressed me about her.
It's the way she is now. She was a good assistant in college as well.
Yes.
But just a facet of the game that she's working on as opposed to the headline maker, which is all the scoring. Assists don't get any headlines at all. Rebounds don't get any headlines. It's putting the ball in the basket. Well, she is adjusting, and I agree with you. She's doing a very, very good job of it.
So what do you think at the end of the season, who's going to be the WNBA Rookie of the Year? Will it be Caitlin Clark?
Of course it will be.
Or will it be Angel
Well,
Reese?
it could be Angel Reese or it could be Coe. It could be co-rookies of the year.
Yeah, I saw some interesting stats today. They're very close on scoring. Angel Reese, of course, leading by a lot on the rebounds, but Caitlin Clark leading by a lot on assists, and it's just a great time. I mean, they have done a fantastic job of keeping the excitement up from the college basketball season straight into the WNBA, and oftentimes you don't see that with sports.
Well, I will debate that to a degree. The interest has been certainly heightened because the media has made it that way. They have concentrated much of their efforts. But the ratings, TV ratings, will tell the tale. Now, the crowds there are much better. They are. But also, gang, look, let's face it. You're playing basketball in baseball's midseason. Is that going to work?
Right.
I don't think it did so much for football. They didn't have a bad year. But is it going to be – why do we have to overlap these seasons? Is it all for attendance, all for TV money? And the answer is yes, it is.
Yep.
And there's only so much time in the year.
Wait a minute. What are you doing talking? Eat your hot dogs. Come on, man.
He's taking a break. He's stopped.
No. No breaks. No breaks.
He's stalled out at 9 right now. When we come back, we'll continue our
I only have
sports
7
conversation.
left, Ned.
And he's got more hot dogs to eat. It's Ned Talk on 104.7 The Cave.
You're listening to Ned Talk on 104.7 The Cave, part of the Kansas City Chiefs radio network. Back to Ned Talk on 104.7 The Cave. A proud member of the Kansas City Chiefs radio network.
For those of you fortunate enough to be scoring at home, Josh Roberts is at 9 right now. He's kind of stalled. He's taking a break. He's resting. He's got an odd look on his face.
Yeah.
There's been some gas in here.
Hey, as the corpsman in charge here, it's time to quit.
Ned's telling me to throw in the towel. Yep. I don't know. I think I got it.
You have to face a choice: to throw in the towel or throw up. Which is
I think
the other.
I've got at least one more in me.
No, don't. I'm advising you
There's got to be a
not
better way of saying that. It's Ned Talk on 104.7 The Cave. We're seeing how many hot dogs Josh Roberts can consume while we talk sports. Again, the number is 9.
I hope that Cullen Bunn is listening to this because he's the one who always thinks he can out-eat me.
Well, we should have had a contest between you and Cullen. Cullen, it's a throwdown, Cullen. If you're out there, Cullen Bunn, listen to me. Listen to me, Cullen Bunn. You should be right here taking on Josh Roberts. We're going to have a throwdown. I challenge you, Cullen Bunn, to come down here. Yeah, eating hot dogs. We'll have to do a challenge. We'll have to have Cullen in and do a challenge.
No, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Ugly for him.
You don't want to embarrass him in front of his family,
Right.
do you? That's right.
All right, I'm starting number 10.
Number 10 right now. Ned is silent. He's watching the Cardinals on the TV right now.
I am hurt that he is defying my expertise and my caution to him not to eat anymore. He's going ahead and, all right, he's told me to stick it.
No, not at all.
Josh,
Yes,
I do
have.
have to point out that Ned's medical degree is from Oscar Mayer University. All right, let's talk, since we're eating hot dogs, or Josh is eating hot dogs, let's talk baseball because hot dogs and baseball, they go together, don't
Beautiful.
they? They do. And one of the hottest teams in Major League Baseball since Mother's Day has been the St. Louis Cardinals. What flipped the switch?
The answer is they played the easier teams. It's an easy part of the schedule that they're going through. Now, it started, so I made the statement on Mike's show last week that this series with the Atlanta Braves, I think, is a very interesting one, as is the rest of the Cardinals schedule. Why? Because we're only 10 days, or it's maybe even less than 10 days away from the trading deadline. The Atlanta Braves are not a great team this year. They trail Philadelphia, I think, by 7 games in the National League East, I think is what it is. And they haven't had a great year, and they're missing their star player who's out for the year. Well, you don't lose a Ronald Acuna and not suffer the consequences. Well, they have, and their pitching staff is not very good. I just noticed here where they put the Freed kid on IL, whatever, how long that's going to be, who knows. But they're not very good. So I'm going to have to backtrack a little bit on my prediction that the Cardinals needed to do well in this 3-game series. It's 1-1, and they're playing now. Then the Cardinals take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. They also have another series of games coming up against easier ball clubs, and they're making the most of it. Now, what's easy? These are professional baseball players. Come on, they're all good. Yes, they are to a degree, but the degrees certainly differ. The Cardinals have had some success. Can they catch the Milwaukee Brewers? Look on there on your, I think it's 5 games. Is that what the Cardinals are behind?
Yeah, they're 5 back of the Brewers right now.
Well, the Brewers are not all that good. They can be caught. Can the Cardinals catch them? Yes, of course they can. But keep in mind there are 12 teams in the playoffs. This isn't just what they've had in the past where the division winners and maybe one wild card. There are 2 more wild cards in the thing. Well, your path to being in the playoffs is wide open now. Are the Cardinals a championship contender? I don't think so. I don't think their pitching staff is strong enough. But over and above that, when they get into the tougher part of their schedule against the Dodgers, and they have the Dodgers still to play, they have the Padres, I believe, who come into St. Louis to play next, and there will be a day of reckoning for the St. Louis team. Are they good enough to be in the playoffs? Yeah, because there are 12 teams. Are they good enough to be a contender? I'm going to say they are not.
Right in the rearview mirror is the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have suddenly come to life, and I think a lot of that has to do with the young man they have that's pitching for them every fifth day.
Skeens, and he is very, very, very good. He started the All-Star game when he didn't strike out anybody in the first inning, but he only faced 3 batters, and then he was out of there. Skeens is very good. In fact, he's better than very good. More than likely, he will be Rookie of the Year. He's a guy who he mixes his pitches well, and he has sparked the Pittsburgh Pirates team. The Pirates are not all that bad, gang. As Joe just pointed out, they've got good young players on their team, players who are motivated to do very well, and you are confident every time you take the field when you have a Skeens who is doing the pitching. That certainly helps them. Their series with the Cardinals is very important for both teams, and that's coming up next week. So we have some interesting races that are developing because you just simply do not know how they're going to end at the end of the season, and keeping in mind that there are a team in the playoffs this year may be under 500. I don't find that acceptable at all.
I don't like that.
When I'm looking at the schedule, or when I'm looking at standings, I guess I should say, we're 99 games in for the Kansas City Royals, and they are 9 games above 500. They're in third place. But that division, the American League Central, is better this year than it's been in the past. You've got 3 teams that are over 500. You have 1 team that is right below it, the Detroit Tigers, who may have somebody they have an outstanding young pitcher on their team,
the schoolboy kid, and he is quite good.
Yeah, and so that's a tight race right there, even though Cleveland's been on top and seems to maintain an arm's distance. The Royals have continued to play really good, solid baseball, and Bobby Witt is being recognized as one of the best players in baseball right now.
In the home run derby.
Yep.
And comported himself very well in the home run derby. He's not your quintessential home run hitter, but he is a good hitter, period. And he decided to change his swing a bit. Of course, the pitching is altogether different, too, his batting practice. But the fact is, he stuck a number of home runs into the stadium in Arlington, Texas, and was a candidate to win that thing. However, by the same token, I'm going to stick by my prediction that Kansas City, yes, they are a much, much better team. They're a contender next year and the year after that and the year after that. They're that good. I don't think they are this year. I don't think they're quite mentally ready yet to accept that challenge, but who knows? 12 teams in the playoffs. You never can tell what's going to happen.
Do you think they make the playoffs this year?
I think there's a chance they will, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals and the Royals both could be in the playoffs this year.
Could be.
Very interesting.
Could there be 3 teams out of that division that make the playoffs?
It's a possibility.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a possibility. It'll be tough because the American League East will probably get 2 teams for sure.
Right.
Probably have 2 teams for sure. One team that had major problems at the beginning of the season, they've righted the ship, and that's the Houston Astros.
Again, you have a veteran team. This will probably be their last chance because those guys are getting longer tooth. But by the same token,
and they can't cheat anymore.
Or
any
cheating.
less for
come
that
on,
matter.
Josh, come on.
They found a new way.
They found a new way. Drones.
Drones aren't allowed. The teams come off the field when that happens. That's the ruling. Again, the Astros have the veteran composition of their team to make them challenges if they can physically stand up to it. There's the problem. Can they make it through? They're not a young team at all, but they do have the experience. That's why I think they have a shot at making the Seattle Mariners are the ones who absolutely puzzle me. They should, from a talent standpoint, be way out in front and just kind of governing everything. What are they, in the lead by, 2 games?
They are no longer in the lead. The Astros are 1 game up on them. Yep.
Wow. That was yesterday then. Okay, good.
And the Rangers are 6 behind. So, that race is tightening up. The American League East is tight, a 2-game lead for Baltimore. Really, the National League, the Cardinals, I don't hear a lot of talk, especially in the national media, about the Milwaukee Brewers, but they have kept everybody at an arm's length distance, and so have the Dodgers, and the Phillies have too. I mean, there's really those races, I won't say are over, but they're certainly not tight right now.
Philadelphia has faltered here at the start of the All-Star break. They're playing Pittsburgh, and the Buccos came out and won the first couple of games here, and now I think they play again this afternoon. But the fact is that Philadelphia, and we've talked about this time and again, it happens in a 162-game schedule. You have peaks and valleys, and they are in a valley. The difference is that the contending teams have lesser or more shallow valleys and much higher peaks.
Right.
But they all go through, all of them. I don't care who you are, they all go through that rhythm of 162 games, because in professional sports, that's the formula and the rhythm that they get into.
Well, the rhythm for the Chicago White Sox is just bad.
The rhythm never started.
27 wins, 73 losses. Their run differential is 188. That team is just terrible.
They got off to a terrible start, and they are not a good team. They have a very good and highly sought outfielder in Luis Robert. I think he'll probably go in the trading deadline. They have other individuals on their team who also could go in there, again, depending on what they want. The trading deadline's not all just what's the team need. It's who do you give up and what do you get? So there are a number of factors involved.
Let me toss a name out as we go into the break, Ned, to think that he might actually, there's a chance he could be back in a Cardinals uniform.
It's Jack Flaherty?
Yep.
I think there's a very good chance that he could be. The Cardinals are interested in, or at least have asked about, the availability of Jack Flaherty to come back. Would he be good? Yeah. He has moments that he's quite dominant on the mound. I think it's more mental than anything else. But, yeah, he could come back. But I'm not so sure the Cardinals are going to want to change their whole circumstance because, again, to get Jack Flaherty back, what would they have to give up?
Yep. Well, Josh is in a hot dog daze. You were just staring off into the distance.
Oh, I was listening.
You didn't look like it.
Oh, I was.
We're at 10 hot dogs, ladies and gentlemen. We did 9 in the first segment, 1 in the second segment.
It's a war of attrition, Joe.
We'll see how the third segment goes. It's Ned Talk on 104.7 The Cave.
You're listening to Ned Talk on 104.7 The Cave, part of the Kansas City Chiefs radio network. Back to Ned Talk on 104.7 The Cave, a proud member of the Kansas City Chiefs radio network.
Las Vegas had the over-under at 12 hot dogs, and Josh finished at the under. He has thrown in the towel, so to speak. And number 10 will be his final hot dog here today.
10, yeah.
10 hot dogs.
Ladies and gentlemen, this game has come to an end.
It was impressive.
I'm proud of my accomplishment, and I'll endeavor to do better next year.
Josh, the accomplishment is this. You have been able to keep it down for a while now.
I'm not a puker, Ned. Pukers are quitters.
That's right. Did you any response from Cullen Bunn so that you could? No. Okay, wasn't listening. Shame on him.
Shame on him.
He's visiting riveting radio, hot dog eating radio that we've got going on here right now. So anyway, I wanted to touch on something I know that's dear to your heart, Ned, and that is Wimbledon. And we didn't get a chance to talk about this last week. And two-time Wimbledon champion and an impressive performance in the finals.
Carlos Alcaraz is the next coming of the dominant tennis player. He's already won Wimbledon twice now and a number of other tournaments, and he is good. He played Novak Djokovic, of course, for the championship. Keep in mind now, Djokovic, I'm surprised that he's playing Wimbledon because he had knee surgery. It was arthroscopic surgery, but knee surgery nonetheless. Just 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And he's out there, and he played at it, and his intention is to play in the Olympic Games. He played well. Now, he did have some pretty tough matches. Alcaraz just breezed through. They get to the championship match, and right from the get-go, there was no question that this is all Alcaraz. He blew away Djokovic in the first 2 sets. The final set, when Novak finally woke up and decided to play some tennis, it was very good. But you could see the big difference. Djokovic is a master at little dink shots, little spinning shots over the net that do all sorts of magic tricks. And he tried any number of them, and Alcaraz got to every single one of them and hit winners back. That just doesn't happen. And yet it did with him. This 21-year-old kid is really, really good player. So, yeah, I think we're changing changing the scenario, it's certainly in men's tennis and in women's tennis, I must admit to you, the Krejcikova is how she pronounces her name. I'm not even familiar with her at all. And she won the women's singles title. But, yeah, pretty doggone good tennis. And they're all so young and strong and fast. That is the key.
Yeah, one of the things that I noticed during especially the men's final, is how much of the court that these guys actually cover. You do not realize what tremendous athlete they are, but their coverage of a tennis court is amazing.
When you talk, I'm glad you said that, Joe, because that's 100% correct. That's what you don't realize. You think, oh, couldn't they playing tennis and back and forth? It isn't back and forth. It's corner to corner at a constant level. These guys are so good, and gals are so good. They place their shots. That's how you win the matches, by being very definitive. You don't just overpower a person. That doesn't happen in tennis. You out-strategize them. And watching these individuals, Alcaraz especially, is so good at what he does and hitting winning shots. Djokovic is one of the hardest servers in the country and in the world, for that matter. And every one of them returned at a blistering pace. I was just totally astounded by what I saw.
Well, I'll tell you the other aspect of tennis that's always fascinated me. Yes, they are able to cover so much ground, but then the anticipation of where they think their opponent's going to hit the ball also is amazing to me, because if they can't wait until the guy hits the ball to then respond to that. They have to try to anticipate where they're going to hit it. And that's what fascinates me with tennis.
You watch them with the serve and volley and the net players. The net players are always very good, Djokovic being one of them, and they're so good at charging the net and making the individual, from a visual standpoint, hit the ball right back to him. Not Alcaraz. He hits it past them, and oh, heavens, that was just beautiful tennis.
How old is Djokovic?
36.
Wow. Well, you know, that I knew that he was older, but here he is again in the Wimbledon finals. He's been the most dominant tennis player, taking that from your favorite, from your favorite tennis player,
Roger Federer, and from Pete Sampras, who was also the forerunner to all of this. The interesting thing about Djokovic, he has 24 major titles. That's the record. He wants that 25th. Now, the next shot is the U.S. Open, which begins on or around the Labor Day weekend. It depends on the calendar, probably a week before and a week after, whatever. But that's hard court, and that's where Djokovic is skilled, on the hard court tennis. Yeah. Now, what do the other guys do? Be interesting to see. Alcaraz is very, very good, folks, but can he adjust his game to play on hard court? That's the secret to the good tennis player, making the adjustments. Clay in France, grass at Wimbledon, hard court at both Australia and at the U.S.
We've seen the passing of the Williams sisters, and who are the dominant players on the female side?
Coco Gauff is very good. The top player is the young lady from Poland, and she got knocked out of it. She got knocked out in the fourth round, I believe it is. Iga Swiatek, I don't remember how she pronounces her name, but the fact of the matter remains she is the number one in the world. So you have some very good players right up there. I like the young lady from the USA, Navarro, who's a University of Virginia graduate, an NCAA national singles champ who got in and knocked out Coco Gauff. So, indeed, you have a differing of the stages of women's tennis as well. But again, it's such an individual game, and a lot depends on the individual's attitude, physical skills on any day. There is no such thing, in my opinion, as an overpowering player. Closest one is Alcaraz.
It is just amazing to watch the tournaments, because it is such a mental and physical test for players.
That's what it is.
And you were right, Ned. Tennis is almost an athletic version of chess, because you can see the moves being made, of where they're pushing another player to. I have control right now, so I'm going to push that guy. or person over here, and then I'm going to go over here. And it's just amazing. I watched more of Wimbledon this year than I have in any time that I can recollect. And it was amazing even watching just the way the teams worked in the doubles and how that is all played together.
That's all net play. They're all right up there at the net. It is. You better have doggone good hand-eye coordination to play at the net. Same thing with pickleball. Now, I'm I guess a critic of pickleball. It's kind of it's ping pong is what it is, but at a different level. But having said all that, when you play pickleball at doubles, that game is really fast. Now I know it's a wiffle ball that they're playing, but that thing can rocket over the net, and you better be ready with your paddle up to return it. It's a good test.
It's a wiffle ball, but it's not a soft one.
Oh no,
it's not like the wiffle ball you played with in the street. It's a solid piece of plastic. Because
the one in the street is too.
Not the ones we were hitting as kids.
I've taken to watching some videos on Facebook because there's a wiffle ball league, and when we were kids, we would have the wiffle ball that was solid on one side and the holes on the other side. That was really the wiffle ball. There was others that were a solid ball, but this was the wiffle ball, and we could make it do things, but I'm amazed at watching what certain people can do throwing a wiffle ball these days. I mean, it is amazing how much thought and time that they've put into it. When we come back, we'll discuss what we're going to do this afternoon. Josh is probably not going to eat any more hot dogs for a while, and we'll talk about, the MLB All-Star Game. It's Ned Talk on 104.7 The Cave.
You're listening to Ned Talk on 104.7 The Cave, part of the Kansas City Chiefs radio network. Back to Ned Talk on 104.7 The Cave, a proud member of the Kansas City Chiefs radio network.
That's right. Tomorrow night is our Chiefs Happy Hour. We are doing it at the Dive on Patton Street. Once again this year, Mitch Holtis, Art Haynes, Ned Reynolds, and Dana Hughes, they'll all be there for a great time. We want you to join us. Tickets are available online through our website at 1047thecave.com. Again, it is tomorrow night, our Chiefs Happy Hour. Looking forward to it. Ned, you're going to be there. Josh, you're going to be there. So be fun. Did you watch the All-Star Game?
I didn't see the whole thing, but I did see enough of it to determine that it was not a very good game at all. Just the way things go. You had a 3-run homer by Shohei Ohtani, and then you had the American League come back and win it, and they got the game 5-3.
Do you care anymore?
No, I do not. It does not have anywhere near the same appeal that it used to, and there's several reasons why. Number one is, and mostly this, is because the teams are all playing each other during the course of the year. It used to be something of a magical mystery tour, and you cared about what league wins. Now I don't. Secondly, it is the uniforms that they wear. I absolutely abhor what they're doing now with everybody looking the same. That's not an all-star game. And why Mr. Manfred thinks he knows more than everybody else in the world, egotistical so-and-so, yes, we must have this for team unity. That's not what it's about. It's about all-stars. And you're looking for your favorite team and your favorite player in his uniform of the home team that you root for. What an absolute insult. They better go back to it.
I heard that that next year they would.
I think they're debating it. They haven't made the official decision yet. But when that happened, what on earth are you doing fooling around with what was an integral part of a baseball fan's life, the All-Star Game? It isn't now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch a second of it. I didn't watch the Home Run Derby. Did you watch that?
A little bit, but not much.
I mean, when I see the list of guys that are participating in the Home Run Derby, I think for the most part, I was excited to see Bobby Witt was in it because he's from the place for the Royals, and I think having watched Bobby Witt play this year, very impressed by him. And I think that he deservingly needs to get more spotlight than what he does. And then Pete Alonso and the rest of the names, I was kind of like, who are these guys? Who are these-
Well, Alonso's won it in the past. So.
Yeah. And I know he was trying for his third time, but did not win it this year. Who won it this year?
It was won by, let's see, I've got to go back now. A guy who, it was from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Gosh, why can I not remember? I'm drawing a blank on his name. The Dodger, he's the first Dodger in history to win the home run derby.
Oh, really?
And
wow.
Look it up. I can't. His name's on the tip of my tongue. He's a kid from either the Dominican Republic or Panama or one of the Latin American countries.
How many hot dogs can he eat?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Probably not 10.
Josh ate 10 today, by the way, everybody. So just Hernandez.
Hold the applause, please.
Teoscar.
Yeah.
Teoscar Hernandez.
Teoscar Hernandez. Mm-hmm. I'll let you pronounce the names, and I'll just let you.
It's
do
not
that.
so much the pronunciation. I can get them. It's remembering them. And my age, those mental lapses sometimes happen.
Oh, come on, Ned. You're right on it.
The hell I am.
So what are you going to do with the rest of your afternoon?
Well, it won't be mowing. Not today.
Yeah.
I've already done that anyway. But they're just various household chores that are reserved for Sunday afternoon. Part of the factor is that I can't get these Cardinals games. I don't have them on my system, and I refuse to pay an exorbitant amount just to watch a regular season game. I think it's heresy. I think it's robbery, number one, and I do think this whole thing changes next year. But right now,
Ned, there's these places that have these long wooden things that people sit at, and they serve libations, and typically they have these games on at those places.
And I see them there. However, they are not open on Sundays.
Oh, some of them are.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not going
Not
to
the
a
ones he
foreign,
goes to.
This is a foreign court, and I'm not going to that.
All right. You going to watch the game tonight?
The one on ESPN, yes.
the
I'll
ESPN
watch
one.
that. Mm-hmm.
What about you, Josh? What's your plans
Who
for
plays
Sunday
tonight
afternoon?
on ESPN?
Who knows?
Okay. I don't have any plans for this afternoon. I've got to do laundry, but that's the only thing I have to do.
Well, you and Ned could get together and do laundry together.
We could, Ned.
Oh, I don't think that's a good idea.
We could throw our laundry together.
Yeah, after all the hot dogs? No, I don't. No, maybe not. Maybe not.
I have a
good idea.
feeling a nap is in my future, too, though, with these hot dogs sitting in my belly.
I got one of those scheduled, too. I thought we were going to have to wake you up there for a minute.
Me?
Yeah. You
Today?
did. Yeah, you look like you were about to go. You
I
look
think
like
I just
you're
got abducted by aliens or something.
I think you were just about to go. Again, tomorrow night is our Chiefs Happy Hour 2024. We would love to see you out there. The Dive on Patton Street. That's downtown Springfield. There'll be food. There'll be drinks. There'll be Ned Reynolds. There'll be Art Haynes. There'll be a whole bunch of great
ready
people.
to wrap up the show?
Yeah, I am.
Can you imagine this? This is one of the very first, if maybe the first, of our Sunday shows in which I have not heard the word Chiefs mentioned.
Well,
Other than
Chiefs Happy Hour, yeah, we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk about the Chiefs. It's been kind of a slow time for them.
That's
right
because there's nothing to talk
now. There's
about.
nothing to talk about.
And right now, no news is good news for the Chiefs.
Patrick Mahomes is having another daughter. They have. He went to Wimbledon. The usual Travis Kelce stuff that goes on,
And that'll change because the veterans report to camp today.
Oh,
That's
wow.
right. So hopefully we'll have some Chiefs stuff to talk about next week. So join us for Ned Talk on 104.7 The Cave. Thanks to Ned Reynolds, Josh Roberts, Renee for bringing all the hot dogs today, supplying those today. Nick Fury, Brian Tyndall, if he doesn't kick us off the air for eating hot dogs, and Corbin Bull and Mike the intern. We'll see you guys next Sunday.